Hello, everybody. Today we will review the movie Robinhood. Now, I know this movie has been done many times, so in the title I will put that it is the 2018 version, which I absolutely 110% regret not going to see in theaters. I missed this one, unfortunately. I did go to see quite a few films in 2018 and 2019, so I guess missing a few that I would have really liked to have seen isn't a huge deal, but this one would have been a good one to go see on the big screen, and unfortunately I missed it, but I'm getting to see it now that it has come to Netflix, and I guess it's also on Amazon Prime to rent for $5, but I don't know how much it would be to buy, because I guess it's a newer feature on streaming services, or a newer movie that's coming to streaming services, and I guess some charge for it. So I will wait until the movies that I can't watch for free become free, because I can wait to review those at a later date. But this one, fortunately, is on more than one streaming service, and on Netflix it is a free movie. You don't have to pay for it. So, I mean, if you have all three, I guess it's up to you what streaming service you use. If you don't use Netflix, you might have to buy the movie. But if you do use Netflix, it is new. I don't know how long they're going to keep it up. So if you would like to go see this movie, definitely go view it now on Netflix if you have it. If you don't, it looks like you might have to pay for it, or maybe you have the movie on DVD or Blu-ray or 4K or 8K or how many ever Ks they have out now. It's just crazy how fast technology seems to be moving. Within the last couple of years, it seems once you get the meaning of the whole, or the saying of once you buy it, the new model is right out on the shelf, is really becoming true because technology is moving so quickly. But anyhow, let's get into the actual review. So this is the Robin Hood movie from 2018, starring Taron. Is it Taron? Taron Egerton? Is that how you pronounce his name? I have it pulled up here. Taron Egerton and Jamie Foxx. So this is kind of like the classic tale. I mean, it's still Robin Hood robbing from, or taking from the rich and giving to the poor, but it definitely dives more into the Sheriff of Nottingham's story, and kind of, I guess in a way, you can kind of see how he became corrupt. Obviously, he was mistreated as a child. He was pulled into religion at an early age. He doesn't necessarily follow that religion to a T, I wouldn't say. In this movie, he kind of goes against it, and in his... I don't know if he goes against it necessarily, but he kind of makes his own rules within his religion. I would say he does anyway. Maybe I'm mistaken on that, but I would say he doesn't necessarily follow what his superiors tell him the religion is. I guess it's kind of hard with religion to really know whether somebody's following it completely or whether they're 100% faithful to that religion or not. I would say no in this case, he's not, because yeah, he doesn't necessarily like the people that are above him telling him what to do. It seems like even he's kind of trying to say what they want to hear to please them, but he also goes behind their backs and does whatever he wants to do once they're gone or out of his way, sort of thing. Kind of hard to explain how he really acts in this movie, because he does want to please the people above him, but he also wants power for himself. So I guess he's kind of conflicted in that way. At least, yeah. So it kind of showed more in depth how he became the man he is today, and why he does the things he does for the people that he does, due to the fact that I guess he believes that he was, even though he was beaten as a child, he believes that they beat the strength into him, I guess, instead of taking it away from him. I guess he kind of turned a negative into a positive in a certain way, and then reversed it and turned it back into a negative again because he's become a bad person. So yeah, he's a very conflicted person, obviously. And then we have our Robin of Noxley character. Was it Noxley? I believe it was Noxley. Who actually meets Little John when they are raiding. Oh God, what place did they go to in the movie? Why can't I think of the name of it? Do 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 do. Oh, come on, give me something here. What? Yeah, but what? Ugh. Oh, come on. Seriously, it doesn't say where they. It tells you who he was Third Crusade against, who he was fighting, but it doesn't say where they were fighting, so that's not very useful, is it? Because I can't remember the name of the place. Okay, let me look this up. Where did they raid in Robinhood? Oh, really? I don't know. I don't know why. It doesn't say. I can't remember. That's not very helpful because that's kind of important to the story as to where he meets this character, Little John, but I can't, honestly, for the life of me, remember where it was that they were raiding. No, it wasn't Turkish. No. Geez, I can't think of it for the life of me now. That's going to annoy me. Maybe I will just go on to Netflix for a minute here and find it, because that's going to bother me. So so he meets Little John, and then Little John's son dies, and Robin Hood tries to save him, but to no avail. Little John's son dies, but he's not Little John at this point. I guess we don't really know who his character is, but once he comes back and meets Robin in the town of Nottingham, he confronts him and says that he wants to. Obviously, the sheriff of Nottingham runs on the money and the people's money, so Little John wants to take him down that way for bait. I mean, in a sense, he was the one who gives the orders to kill anybody. So I guess Little John kind of blames the sheriff of Nottingham for killing his son. Oops. So anyway, he trains Robin Hood in the ways of his world. And then, when Robin Hood is fully trained, they begin to obviously do what Robin Hood was meant to do and take from the rich and give back to the poor. But first he gives to the people that he wants to give to, which is obviously his, I guess, ex-girlfriend, ex-fiance. I'm not really sure whether, I don't think were they married? I can't remember whether they were married in this movie or not before he left. But I believe she was waiting for him. Okay, so it says right here where they were going to go. Draft notice. Third Crusade in Arabia. Ah, okay. So they were going to Arabia. That's where Little John is from. He's Arabian. Okay. Well, now that I've got that out of the way, thank God. So, where was I? Yes. Marion is his girlfriend's name, and when he gets back, she's with this guy named Will. Obviously, Friar Tuck tells him that he has apparently been dead for 2 years. He was named dead killed in battle, I guess, and they had a funeral for him and everything. So I guess the Sheriff of Nottingham obviously didn't want Robin of Locksley to be alive. He seized his house. Marion had to move out. Now she's with this guy named Will. Obviously, Robin and him don't get along very well. I mean, they kind of make up at the very end, but then Marion chooses Robin over Will. So now Robin has become the new Sheriff of Nottingham after Will has become the new Sheriff of Nottingham after Robin and... Did I just say that twice? After Robin and Little John have managed to kill the current Sheriff of Nottingham. And now, obviously, it kind of opens it for a sequel, because I believe that doesn't Robin Hood eventually get chased down? So that it kind of leaves it open for a sequel, like a whole movie where they're just hunting down Robin with the new Sheriff of Nottingham, and then eventually, this could honestly be like a 2 or 3 movie thing, because I believe he gets hunted for years, and then later on in life, he ends up getting caught and killed. So, yeah, this could definitely be like a 2 or 3 parter. I'm hoping for a sequel to this movie, and I'm really hoping for a sequel to the Kingsman series. And I know they did like a standalone just called Kingsman, where it's like supposed to be like the original story type thing as to how they came about. But I would love to see a sequel to the Taron Egerton series. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Just because that was such a good movie, the first 2. So, maybe we'll see that. Anyway, this isn't about the Kingsman movies though. So, yes. So it does leave it open for a sequel. Hopefully, we do see a sequel to this movie. Obviously, with the craziness in the world right now, it might not happen for a couple of years down the road, but I didn't see anything on IMDb yet about a Robin Hood sequel, so fingers crossed that does get announced eventually. And I think I've pretty much covered everything I can about this movie. Now, except for the Friar Tuck part, I guess, because Friar Tuck and Marion have their own plan on what they're stealing, and then Robin Hood and their plans kind of align together once Robin is able to get Friar Tuck out of the clutches of the Sheriff of Nottingham and the people above him by basically saying that he should be kicked out of his faith. Not killed, but cut from the cross, basically. And that would be a far worse punishment than death for him. Ends up being quite freeing for Tuck, because he says that he rather enjoys being a criminal as opposed to a religious man, I guess. So it kind of worked out for him in the end. And he was I don't know who played Tuck in this movie, but he was quite the comedian in this movie. So that brought a different element to the story as well. Yeah, so I would say the story is a little bit different, because I don't believe that, at least in the stories I was told, that Little John was Arabian. I believe he was English just like the rest of them, wasn't he? Or at least that's how I remember it. Maybe I know there's like a ton of different versions of Robin Hood, but I believe that was the one I was always told when I was a kid, or at least that's the book I remember reading, is that they were all Englishmen stealing from the rich and giving back to the poor. Yeah, I think anyhow. And the joke was that Little John, or they called him Little John as a joke because he was taller than the rest of them, and it was kind of a play on words because he wasn't little at all. But anyway, yeah, definite 10 out of 10 on my rating for this movie. And yeah, I've covered everything now. So, please like, share, subscribe, and comment down below your thoughts on this film if you've seen it. If not, definitely go watch it. It's an action-packed movie from beginning to end. And there's definitely some scenes that make you go, wow, that's how brutal it was back then. And it probably was. So there are some probably real historical points that happened here. Obviously, because there's always been wars going on, so it was quite a bit different back then. Because by today's standards, most places probably wouldn't be able to just go and totally overrun another country, just due to the fact that obviously armies. I mean, I shouldn't say that they aren't as big as they used to be, but I wouldn't say one army could overpower another one the same way they could back then, just because obviously a military force was so much greater. And I guess it's kind of like everybody got called to arms. At least that's kind of what it showed in this movie. You had to serve. You didn't really have a choice. If you didn't serve, it was treason. I mean, who knows? That could happen again in the future. Hopefully not, because I would like to think we have a little bit of freedom anyway. But, oh man, yeah, it would have been rough living in those times for sure. Not to say that everything was bad about the past, but as far as having no choice, basically, in your own freedom would really suck, no matter how much money or power I guess you had, because Robin started out as a lord and basically became a common criminal by the end of the movie. So you can see how power didn't really matter, or wealth, I guess, in that case. I guess it was more about your connections, really, your underground connections, it seemed in this movie at least. But yeah, that's all I have to say. And I will see you guys in the next one. I believe I've said everything else that I have to say now, so I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye for now.